There's something fascinating and mysterious happening in the cosmos. A recent discovery from the 3I Atlas has revealed something that could change the way we think about alien life. A series of unusual water emissions originating from a distant part of the universe have sparked scientific curiosity and speculation. But what could this mean for the search for life beyond Earth? Could it be a sign that we are not alone in the universe? Water. It's one of the most essential elements for life as we know it. On Earth, life is inextricably linked to water. It's the foundation of biological processes, the medium in which all known forms of life exist. But what if water, in some form, is more widespread across the universe than we ever thought? The 3I Atlas mission has observed strange emissions of water from a far-off region in space. These emissions don't just raise questions about the physical properties of distant objects. They also invite us to think about the possibility of life beyond our planet. Water in space. A key to understanding alien life? Scientists have long suspected that water could be key to understanding the potential for alien life. For years, astronomers have been on the lookout for planets and moons that might have liquid water. Because if water is present, it's possible that life could exist as well. But the recent discovery of water emissions from 3I Atlas raises a more compelling question. Could these emissions be a sign of something more? Could they point to the existence of life or the conditions that could support it on distant planets, moons, or asteroids? The discovery of water is exciting for many reasons. Water is not only the building block of life, it also provides a unique perspective on the conditions necessary for life to thrive. On Earth, we know that water is essential for processes like photosynthesis and respiration, key components for all known life forms. But what if, in a distant part of space, water is acting as the backdrop for a completely different kind of life? Could it be that we are witnessing the early stages of a completely different form of biological activity? The 3I Atlas observations may be the first clues we've found that suggest water could be more than just a passive element in space. It could be actively involved in the formation of life. The question now is whether this water, with its mysterious origins and strange emissions, could hold the secret to understanding the broader question. Is there life out there? Alien oceans, the possibility of life in unlikely places. To understand the significance of water emissions in space, we must first look at how water is present in other parts of the universe. Many scientists have long considered the possibility that life could exist in places previously thought to be inhospitable, such as the icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Moons like Europa, Enceladus, and Titan are thought to have vast oceans of liquid water beneath their frozen surfaces. These subsurface oceans could harbor the conditions necessary for life, whether microbial life or perhaps something far more complex. The question is, could these alien oceans be more like the water emissions observed by 3I Atlas? Are they a sign that conditions for life could exist elsewhere in our solar system, or even further out in the universe? If the 3I Atlas observations are anything to go by, this theory is gaining momentum. The emissions of water could point to a dynamic process happening on an alien world, a process that could very well be linked to the conditions needed for life. These emissions may not just be a byproduct of physical phenomena, but rather a sign of something much more profound, a connection to the potential for life on other worlds. But what if the water emissions observed by 3I Atlas aren't linked to known celestial bodies, like moons or planets? What if they're coming from an entirely new source, something we haven't even considered yet? Could there be other kinds of environments out there, previously overlooked, where water is the key to unlocking the potential for alien life? Theories about life beyond Earth. What could these water emissions mean? The most exciting thing about the 3I Atlas discovery is the doors it opens for new theories about alien life. For decades, we've been focused on finding Earth-like conditions on other planets, planets with similar temperatures, atmospheres, and landscapes. But what if life doesn't need to mimic Earth exactly? What if life can exist in conditions vastly different from those we are familiar with, and the water emissions we are seeing are a hint of something far more extraordinary? Some scientists believe that life beyond Earth could thrive in extreme environments that we wouldn't typically associate with life. Hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor, for example, support thriving ecosystems here on Earth, despite the lack of sunlight and extreme temperatures. Could there be similar environments in space, places where the chemical processes necessary for life could occur in the presence of water, but in ways that we can't yet fully comprehend? As our understanding of what constitutes a habitable environment expands, the concept of life beyond Earth becomes more exciting. Theories range from the possibility of microbial life thriving beneath the icy surfaces of moons like Europa and Enceladus, to the more speculative idea of life forms based on alternative biochemistries, life that doesn't rely on carbon-based molecules, but perhaps silicon or some other unknown compound. The water emissions seen by 3I Atlas could be the first evidence that some of these far-flung theories might actually be worth exploring. These emissions are not just strange phenomena. They could be pointing us toward a completely new understanding of where life can exist and how it might develop in environments we never thought possible. The search for alien life, more than just water? While water is undeniably a key ingredient for life as we know it, it's not the only factor that determines whether life can exist on another planet or moon. Scientists must also consider factors like temperature, chemical composition, radiation levels, and many other variables. The discovery of water emissions is just one piece of the puzzle, but it's a piece that could lead us to some startling conclusions about the possibility of life elsewhere in the universe. For instance, could water emissions from places like the 3I Atlas be linked to volcanic activity or other geological processes that might create the right conditions for life? Could the water be part of a dynamic cycle, rising up from underground reservoirs, forming clouds, and then being expelled back into space? Or is this water something even more unusual, perhaps created by a process we don't yet understand? What we do know is that these water emissions could be a clue that we are on the cusp of discovering life beyond Earth, or at the very least, the conditions necessary for it to thrive. The question is, what does this mean for the future of space exploration? What technologies do we need to develop to study these emissions in more detail? And how can we begin to search for similar phenomena in other parts of the universe? The future of the search for alien life. The discovery of mysterious water emissions is an exciting breakthrough in the search for alien life. It opens up new possibilities for understanding where life might exist beyond Earth. But the road ahead is still long. We must continue to explore the universe, studying every potential source of water, every strange anomaly that could point to life's existence. As we move forward, the key is to remain open to new possibilities. The universe is vast, and what we've learned so far is just the beginning. Perhaps the true nature of these water emissions from 3I Atlas will lead us to the most profound discovery in the history of science. The discovery that we are not alone, that life exists beyond our planet, and that the cosmos is far more mysterious and beautiful than we ever imagined. So as we continue to look toward the stars, we must ask, could these water emissions be the first sign of something extraordinary? Something that will